ever looked around and thought, when did everything change? One day the world made sense, then suddenly, boom, it didn't. And respect used to be automatic. Now it just feels like nobody cares anymore. In hard work, it really used to mean something, but now it seems like only the shortcuts win. And loyalty used to be one of our foundations, but now it seems as if it's just an afterthought. And no matter how much you try to make sense out of it all, it still doesn't feel right. So let me ask you something. What if the world isn't broken? What if it's just somehow different? Because here's the real problem. We keep trying to open new doors with old keys. And instead of asking what happened, maybe the real question should be, why do we continue to try to use the same old keys when all of the locks have been changed? Because if the world really has already shifted and we didn't shift with it, then what happens to us? And people, that's what we really need to talk about. Hey, Circle, welcome back to Unplugged, Raw and Uncut. Now, if you're new here, pull up a chair and join in the conversation. To my returning Circle family, welcome back. It's always great to see you guys again. Now, let's go ahead and get straight into this. I'm a little older than most of y'all, I think. And I grew up believing in 3 unshakable truths. First, hard work always gets rewarded. Second, respect people and they will always respect your back. And family always comes first. And these weren't just ideas to us. They were more like laws. And for a long time, those laws worked. But then, boom, almost overnight it seems, the world went and changed the rule book on us. And it didn't even tell us. So hard work, yeah, it still matters. But now, who you know is just as important as what you know. And respect, well, it's no longer automatic. And oftentimes in this new world, it's earned, negotiated, or unfortunately, a lot of times just outright ignored. And family, not so much anymore. Even though we have more ways to connect than ever, we still feel further apart. And if you've ever caught yourself thinking, did everything change? Well, here's a simple answer to that. It's been changing for years. It just finally caught up with us. Then here is the real question. Why does it feel like everything just changed overnight? And we keep expecting the world to work like it once did. But let me ask you something. If a door gets a new lock, do you keep trying to use your old key or do you just get a new key? Because it seems like that's the choice we're facing, family. Now, there was a time when staying at one company for 30 years meant stability. But now, if you stay too long at a company without growing, guess what's going to happen? Yeah, you're going to get left behind. And it was a time when a handshake was as good as a signed contract. But now, you better have contracts, receipts, legal proof, and legal representation. And I can still remember a time when you could keep your head down and work hard and you'd be just fine. You'd move ahead in the company just fine, but not now. If people don't know who you are, see your work, or hear your name, you may as well be invisible. And let's be clear. This isn't about whether things are better or worse. The rules aren't better or worse. The rules are just different. They've simply been changed to fit today's reality. And the ones who recognize this and make the necessary adjustments, well, they're the ones who'll get to thrive. But the ones who don't, well, unfortunately, they're the ones who'll get to spend the rest of their lives angry and confused and wondering why nothing makes sense anymore. Does this sound like anyone you know? And I want to make something crystal clear. It's okay to struggle with this. And it's okay to feel frustrated and overwhelmed and hell, even a little lost at times. Because let's face it, change is uncomfortable. Let me ask you this. Are you holding on to the past more than you're preparing for the future? Because here's the hard, honest truth. The world isn't waiting for you. So the real question then becomes, are you going to wait for the world to slow down, or are you going to catch up? And that decision, that's entirely up to you. But here's the good news, people. We don't have to abandon who we are. We just need to learn how to apply what we know in a way that actually works in today's reality. So hard work, it still matters, but smart work, that matters even more. And respect is still very important, but self-respect, that's even more critical today. And loyalty, yes, it still exists, but only be loyal to people who actually value it and deserve it. So instead of us fighting against the change, let's start trying to understand it. And instead of us resisting the way the world is starting to evolve, let's instead ask, how can we take what we already know and apply it in a way that works today? Because those people who decide to make that shift, well, those are the ones who are going to find success, fulfillment, and peace in this world that no longer resembles the one that we once knew. Now, family, I want to hear from you. What's the one thing about today's world that frustrates you the most? And what's one thing you've had to learn to adapt to? And drop it in the comments below, because I guarantee you're not alone in this. And if this conversation made you think, or if it hit home for you, hit that like, subscribe, and share button. And feel free to share this with somebody who may benefit from hearing this. Well, I thank you for pulling up a chair with me today, family. And you know I appreciate you. And you know you're always welcome here at any time. And by all means, let's continue to build our village together, from strangers to family, because every voice matters. And as always, I'm Unc. So take care of yourself and each other, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everybody.